Good morning, grade 7s. Welcome to your mathematics lesson brought to you by worksheetcloud.com. Today, we'll be having a look at the division of fractions. Hey guys. My name's Gareth Jordan, and I'll be your math teacher today as we work through some division of fraction content. Here at Worksheet Cloud, we believe in keeping learning relevant and fun, because let's face it, learning can be a little bit boring sometimes. That is why we have just launched our brand new Worksheet Cloud Rewards Hub feature, where you can earn awesome rewards while you learn, including a chance of getting a PlayStation 5 and some Nomu hot chocolate. But I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. Let's first get into our lesson. Okay, so this is what we've got for you today. We've got a couple of warm-up brain fresheners for you, just to switch the mind on. We've got some mental maths questions that cover some previous principles that I feel you should know at this stage of your mathematical career, particularly in grade 7. We'll have a look at the division of fractions, and then I have a finisher and a 24 challenge for you to end off on. Let's have a look at the warm-up. Right, so you've got two warm-up activities to do. The one on the left, you need to tell me the value of each symbol. And don't forget to do the question mark at the end. And then the activity on the right, there are 3 statements. One of them is a lie. You need to decide and figure out which is the lie, and you need to tell me why. So I'd like you to press pause, work through these 2 activities with pencil and paper or pen and paper. Make sure you write it down and then press play to see how you guys got on. Off you go. Welcome back, guys. Let's see how you guys got on with the activity. So I'm going to start on the 3rd line because I know that 5 over 8 plus 2 over 8 is equal to 7 over 8. Okay, so my desk with the lamp is going to be equal to 5 over 8. So let me just pop that in wherever it needs to go. Okay, great. I'm then going to go have a look at the 4th line. Okay, now I know today is about the division of fractions, but it's always worthwhile to see if you can do something before it's actually taught. It's quite a powerful learning moment. If you can figure it out by yourself, you're more likely to remember that information and that strategy or technique than if someone actually had to teach it to you. But the way I'm going to work the 4th line out is I'm going to actually work in reverse. So I'm going to go 9 multiplied. Okay, I'm going to go 9 multiplied to figure out what the computer screen is going to be. Okay, so if I say 9 multiplied by a third, okay, we know that 9 can be written as 9 over 1. We know from our multiplication of fractions lesson that we can cross cancel. 3 goes into 3 once and into 9 3 times. And now I've just got 3 times 1 as my numerators and 1 times 1 as my denominators. So my answer for the computer screen is going to be 3. Okay, now perhaps that doesn't make much sense to you at the moment, but it will make sense to you after today's lesson. Okay, how does 3 divided by a third equal 9? Well, let's think about it. Okay, if I've got one whole number, how many thirds can go into one whole number? So that's 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. So 3. So in 2 whole numbers, there are going to be 6 thirds. And in 3 whole numbers, there are going to be 9 of them. Okay, so 1/3 fits into a whole number 3 times, into 2 whole numbers 6 times, and into 3 whole numbers 9 times. Okay, I will show you the technique for actually doing the calculation later in the lesson. All right, so now that we've got our computer screen is equal to 3, we can carry on. Okay, So we now need to go to the second line. And what multiplied by 12 is going to give me 3. Okay, so again, I'm going to go backwards. And I'm going to go 3 divided by 12 is equal to a quarter. Okay, so a quarter times 12. And I'm going to write that as 12 over 1. So again, we can see if we cancel out diagonally, 4 goes into 4 once and into 12 3 times. Now you can see your numerators, you've got 1 times 3 is 3, and your denominators, you've got 1 times 1 is 1. Okay, so you know that your answer is going to be a quarter times 12 is equal to 3. Okay, a quarter times 12. Okay, so we now know that the printer is a quarter. Okay, so we've got 5/8 plus a quarter in our top line. Now we know from our addition lesson that you can only add fractions if their denominators are exactly the same. So we make the denominators the same by multiplying 1/4 by 2. So that gives us 2 over 8. And that means that 5 over 8 plus 2 over 8 is 7 over 8, and we need the whole number sentence to equal 1, so we need to add that 1/8. Okay, and now we go to the bottom of the page and we fill in what we have. Okay, and you'll notice that the eighths make 1/8 and 2/8 and 5/8 make 8/8, which is a whole number, plus the 3 gives me an answer of 4. Okay, so that was quite a challenging one to work through. But if you didn't get it, press pause, rewind, and go through it again and see if you can understand the concepts involved. Alternatively, carry on throughout the rest of the lesson, learn the techniques and strategies if you didn't know them already, and then go back and apply them to this problem and see if you guys can work it out. I'm sure you'll be able to do it. Okay. So next we have our 2 truths and 1 lie activity, and as I mentioned, there are 3 statements. 2 are true and 1 is a lie, and you need to determine which one is the lie. Okay, so let's have a look at this activity. So we know 6 1/4 in the first statement, so 6 whole numbers is 600%. Okay, 1/4 is equal to 0.25, and it's one of the fractions and equivalent decimals that I've suggested you know really well, and you don't have to go and work it out. So if I have 6 and I add 0.25, I should have 6.25. Now we can see that they suggest that this decimal is 6.025. So I have a little bit of a problem with that. So I'm going to disagree with that statement regarding the decimal equivalent of 6 1/4. I am going to agree with the percent. It is definitely 625% because we know that 1/4 is 25%. 6 whole numbers, 600%, 1/4, 25%. Put them together, you've got your 625%. Okay, so I've got a problem with the decimal of 6 1/4. But let's have a look at the other statements just to make sure that they're not trying to trick us and give us 2 lies. Okay, we must almost always make sure. So my fraction in the second statement, 1/1 is a whole number. 1 divided by 1 is 1, which means that the decimal will be 1. And you can see that the decimal is 1 or 1.0. It equals 1. And you can see that the percentage is 100%. So I'm happy with statement number 2. Statement number 3, they give us 2/3. Okay, now 1/3 is 0.3 recurring. Remember, recurring means that the decimal fraction never ends. So it's 0.3333333 forever, really. So 2/3 will be 0.6666666 recurring. Okay, so that's just a little reminder of 1/3 and 2/3. But it's important to notice they ask us 2/3 of a percent. Okay, it's 2/3 of a percent. Okay, now if I look at the fraction they've given us 2/300. Okay, now to get that as a fraction out of 100, we're going to have to divide by 3. and we must do the same to the numerator. So you can see that that's going to be 2/3 out of 100. Okay, and remember, percentages out of 100. Okay, now I'm sure you're not used to seeing a fraction over a denominator. For example, 2/3 over 100. Okay, but it's just to show you that that is 2/3 of a percent. So I would agree with the third statement. Okay, I hope you guys managed to get these warm-up activities. Okay, if not, go back to the previous lessons, whether it be grade 6 or grade 7. Have a look at the fractions, decimals, percentages lesson, and just make sure you brush up on those skills and that you're aware of them moving forward. Okay, let's have a look at our mental questions for today. Sorry, you're going to have to clean this up a bit. Hayden, sorry. Right, guys, here are our 4 mental maths questions for today. They all cover previous principles regarding fractions. Work through the 4 questions with pen and paper or pencil and paper. Take your time, don't rush, check your work, and then press play to see how you guys got on. Right, off you go. Let's have a look at question number 1. Find the LCM. Remember, the LCM is the lowest common multiple. Okay, and we should be able to do this by now. We list our multiples of 7. Okay, yeah, they are here. You guys should all know your times tables really well by now. And then I'm stopping at 63, and you'll see why. 9, 18, 27. Okay, so there you can see the number 63 is the first number to appear in both the 7 and the 9 times table. So that's what we call our lowest common multiple. Okay, so that should have been pretty straightforward for you. Then we have 3/5 minus 2/7. Okay, remember we can only add and subtract fractions where their denominators are the same. So we're looking for the lowest common multiple or the lowest common denominator of 5 and 7. Okay, that's going to be 35. Now, how do I get from this 5 to 35? I multiply by 7, and remember, whatever I do to the denominator, I do to the numerator. This one I multiply by 5 to get to 35. So I must multiply the 2 by 5, and that gives me 10 over 35. Now I can subtract them as my denominators are the same. So 21 minus 10 is 11 over 35, and that cannot be simplified any further, so it stays 11 over 35. Okay, our next question is the multiplication of fractions. And as I've mentioned, in previous lessons we discussed cancelling out diagonally to make the question easier for us. Because as it is, I would say 3 times 2 is 6 for my numerator of my answer, and then I'd have to go 14 multiplied by 21, which can be a little bit of a challenging question to do, and then I still need to go simplify. So if I recognize that 2 goes into 2 once and into 14 7 times, there I'm cancelling out diagonally, and 3 goes into 3 once and into 21 7 times. Now I multiply my numerators. 1 times 1 is 1, and I multiply by denominators. 7 times 7 is 49. Voila, I don't have to simplify. I can leave the answer as is. I didn't have to do the 14 times 21, which is quite a big calculation. And like I said, I didn't have to simplify. So I think it makes my life a lot easier. Again, this is a strategy or technique that's been discussed in the multiplication of fractions lesson. So if you've missed that, then be sure to go back and have a look. Right. Your last question is an of sum, and we know that of means multiply, and we may write 49 as a fraction 49 over 1. So I'm dealing with 2 fractions, and now we do the same thing. We cancel out the 7 and the 49, and we see 2 times 7 is 14 Rand. Alternatively, you can do 2 times 49, which is 98, and then 98 divided by 7 will give you the same answer, 14, but I personally prefer to remove that simplification process by just cancelling out, as I know my times tables relatively well. Okay? Guys, I hope you remembered those concepts. Let's carry on with today's lesson. So here's a little challenge for you to do. There's a picture for you in the middle of your screen, and the question says, what fraction of the shape is yellow? There's a hint below the picture. Draw the picture above and then try and split it up evenly. Okay, so you can make a little bit of a sketch, but I need to know what fraction of the shape is yellow. Okay, right, give it a crack and then press play to see how you guys got on. Well, guys, look at the time. You've done some really good work so far. So we're going to take a little bit of a break before we go through the answer of this particular challenge. Get up, stretch your legs, get a bit of fresh air. If you've got some Nomu hot chocolate, I'd encourage you to grab a sip, give you a little bit of energy moving forward. That's what I'm going to do. But you'll take this time to have a break and come back and we'll go through this challenge and the rest of the lesson. Cheers. Let's be honest, studying sucks. But here at Worksheet Cloud, we make it suck less. In Worksheet Cloud, you can earn avatars, sidekicks, collectible coins, and level up, all while studying. Plus, we've just added our most exciting feature to date, the brand new Worksheet Cloud Rewards Hub. With the Worksheet Cloud Rewards Hub, you can earn epic rewards and unlock entry tickets to win real giveaway prizes, including a PlayStation 5, some yummy Nomu hot chocolates, and some fresh Worksheet Cloud merch. The more questions you answer, the more points you earn, and the more rewards you unlock. Worksheet Cloud makes your studying easier with video lessons, practice exams, practice questions, and study notes. In other words, we're your go-to place for all your studying. Ask your parents to sign you up to worksheetcloud.com today. Guys, so apologies for my wonky lines, but I'm sure you'll get the picture. So there, I've done what the hint has suggested I do, and I divided up the shape into, it might not look like equivalent triangles, but they should be equivalent. If I'd drawn them with a ruler, it would have been, it would have seemed a lot more equivalent. And you can see there are 14 triangles that should be the same size. Okay? So if we've got 14 triangles that are the same size and 6 of those triangles come from the yellow section, then 6 out of 14 is going to be my fraction, is going to represent the yellow part of the whole shape. And we know we can divide both of those by 2 to give us an answer of 3/7. Okay? So yeah, divide them up, have a look, and then simplify your fraction to end. Okay, let's have a look at the division of fractions. Right, so dividing fractions. To divide an amount by a fraction, we need to remember that we flip the second fraction and we simply multiply. Okay, now we've already done the multiplication of fractions, so we know that if we can't cancel out diagonally, then we just simply multiply the two numerators together. That becomes your new numerator, and we multiply your two denominators together, the answer of which becomes your new denominator, and then we simplify. Okay, so we change the division sign to multiply. We flip the fraction after the division sign, only the fraction after the division sign, not any other fraction, and then we go ahead and multiply as per usual. Okay, so if we've got 1/3 divided by 2/5, as it is on the screen, we go 1/3, we flip 2/5 to 5/2, and we change the division sign to multiply. Then we multiply the numerators. 1 times 5 is 5. We multiply the denominators. 3 times 2 is 6, and our answer is 5/6. Okay? Just a reminder that a flipped fraction is called a reciprocal fraction. So if you ever get asked to write the reciprocal of a fraction, then you need to write the inverted fraction or flipped fraction. Okay? To divide whole numbers, okay, we do the following. So they want 28 divided by 2/7, as in the second example. We still keep 28 as 28. We change the division sign to multiply, and we flip the second fraction, or we write the reciprocal of 2/7, which is 7/2. We've put 28 as a fraction 28 over 1. So I'm dealing with two fractions. So visually, it just makes a little bit more sense. Now I've got 28 over 1 times 7 over 2. You can cross-cancel the 28 and the 2. So 2 goes into 2 once and into 28 14 times. Then you have, you'll have the 14 times 7, which is 98, and the 1 times 1, which is 1, which leaves you with 98 over 1, which is 98. If you didn't cross-cancel, you would have to do 28 times 7 and work that out to 196. 1 times 2 is 2, and then 196 divided by 2 is your 98. Okay, so there are a couple options there for you to play with. See which one you prefer, which method you prefer, and then see if you can perfect it. Okay, your turn. There are 4 questions there for you to do. I'd like you to do them on your pencil and paper, and then press play, and let's work through them together and see how you guys got on. Right, off you go. Okay, guys, let's have a look at how you did these 4 division of fraction questions. 1/3 divided by 3 over 2. Okay, as we said, we change the division sign to multiply. We flip or invert the fraction after the division sign, so we write the reciprocal of 3 over 2, which is 2 over 3. We multiply the numerators together, we multiply the denominators together, and our answer is 2 over 9. Notice that there's no way of cross-cancelling in this question, so we just go ahead and we multiply the numerators and the denominators together. Right, your second question, let's go to 2 over 11 divided by a quarter. Okay, so we know that 2 over 11 stays 2 over 11. The division sign changes to multiply, and we write 4 over 1. There's no cross-cancelling. Okay, there's nothing that cross-cancel with anything else, and our answer stays 8 over 11. Okay, your third question, 5 over 6 divided by 4 becomes 5 over 6 multiplied by 1 over 4, and again, no cross-cancelling. 5 times 1 is 5, and 6 times 4 is 24. Okay, your answer stays 5 over 24. Then your last question, 3/4 divided by 8, becomes 3/4 multiplied by 1 over 8. 3 times 1 is 3, and 8 times 8 is 64. And we leave the answer 3 over 64. Okay, so I just wanted you to get the division sign changed into a multiply sign, and the fraction after the division sign becoming the reciprocal. Didn't want to involve too much cross-cancelling as well. Okay, so once you understand this concept, I'm pretty sure that you'll remember it moving forward, and you'll be able to do it in your assessments and your classwork at school. Okay, guys, so you've made it to the finisher. Your finishing challenge, it's a multiplication table. You need to determine the value of the symbols. Okay, remember it's the symbols on the left-hand side multiplied by the symbols at the top that give you the answers in the squares. So for example, the pyramids multiplied by the volcano give you 35. Okay, the volcano multiplied by the volcano gives you 49. And the cactus multiplied by the volcano gives you 63. So there's a little bit of a hint in there. If you can pick it up, then that's great. But go and see if you can figure out the value of these symbols, and then press play, and we'll go through it together on the Jamboard. Okay, so let's have a look. I'm going to start with the volcano multiplied by the volcano, because I know that it's the same number because it's the volcano by the volcano, and I know that's 7 times 7. Okay, so I now know that the pyramid is 5 times 7 because that's 35. And the cactus times 7 is 63, so the cactus is going to be 9. All right? So there's your other cactus is 9, and we can check this 9 multiplied by this 9 needs to give me 81, and it does indeed, so happy days. Okay? 7 times 9 is going to give me 63, so the earth in the middle is 63. 5 times 9 is 45, so the book is 45. Okay, now we need the snow-capped mountains. okay? And we need what looks like a little bit of a mobile phone and a map of the world, okay? Now, the only way to get there, to figure out the snow-capped mountains, is to have a look at this 5 and realize that the 9 multiplied by the snow-capped mountains is going to give me 108, okay? We know that 9 times 12 is 108, so now we can go 5 times 12 for 60, and 7 times that 12 for 84. Okay, so the volcano was 7, the earth was 63, the snow-capped mountains was 12, the book 45, the cactus 9, 60 for the phone, 5 for the pyramids, and 84 for the world map. Okay, well done if you got it, guys. Okay. Right, here's your game of 24. It's a blue card, so it's level 2, so a little bit more challenging than the red ones. Okay, you need to use the 4 numbers on each card and use a combination of plus, minus, multiplied, and divide, and you need to come up with the answer of 24. Remember order of operations, so multiply and divide before plus and minus. See if you can come up with the answer of 24. I would encourage you to challenge some family members at home or some friends, or yeah, try have a bit of fun with it. Maybe there's more than one way to come up with the answer of 24. See who can come up with the answer of 24 first, and yeah, enjoy using it at home. Okay. This is just a reminder of where you can access the lessons worksheet and memo so that you can go and do a little bit of extra practice and really get to grips with this content and really understand the techniques and strategies involved. So go and have a look for it via the link, which is below the video on YouTube. Okay? Guys, all that's left for me to say before I say goodbye is to ask you guys to remember to ask your parents to sign you up to worksheetcloud.com so that you can start earning your rewards and maybe even be the lucky one to get that PlayStation 5, some Nomu hot chocolate, and some Worksheet Cloud merchandise. I wish you guys a great day. I hope you learned something or brushed up on some skills, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. All the best.